This is part one of my tour of my model railroad HO scale layout, and I want to show you details that make a model railroad more authentic and detailed, realistic. Notice the joggers here in front of the courthouse. There's a historic building next door, and next door to that is a restored office building. Notice that the shades are at different, window shades are at a different level. We have here a drugstore and a camera shop, second-hand store, barber shop, and florist. Behind these buildings is an apartment complex, and there's a man standing on his balcony, and there's a woman down there on the plaza. There are 4 retail stores at the ground level, and next door to this is a modern office building with an executive suite. Here the executives have their own patio at the top level, and below that is Beacon's moving and storage facility with a matching tractor trailer. And across the street is, on the left, a bicycle shop. We got 3 townhouses and a residence. And below that, we have a coaling station that's on the property of a Shell refinery. Notice the tank cars and the tank trucks waiting to pick up petroleum products. There's a flammable danger flammable sign, and on this corner here the space was utilized by making a wilderness setting. There's rocks, trees, and shrubs, and next to that is a small body of water, and there's a bird sitting in the water there. Across the tracks you'll notice that this sound barrier has weeds growing on the top of it, and so does this retaining wall have weeds and foliage growing out of the cracks. Here is a truck delivering merchandise to an auto parts store, and you'll see a planter with flowers and a woman headed toward the dress shop. A man getting out of his bustleback Cadillac. Here's a telephone repair truck with a cherry picker on it, and a repairman working on the line. Across the street we have a Golden Valley Canning Company with trucks coming in and out. Notice the guy on the dock is guiding the trailer to be backed up to the dock, and there's a ice cream truck with nobody around it. Shows you a view of the city that is up the side of this cliff here, and I needed to show you this hatch here, which is removable. In case I have a problem with the tracks underneath the city, I can remove that and get into the problem underneath the city. Here we have the back side of a lumber yard, the builder supply, and notice that the builder supply is on the trucks here. Here's some scrapped, warped lumber laying out in the elements. Crossing the tracks again, we have a yard limit sign by this control tower, which is next to a dealership for antique cars and classic cars, and also a Ford racing mechanics that are going to work on this vintage Ford here. The back side of a 7-Eleven convenience store. Corner Cafe has one of the waitresses out front when she should be inside waiting for all these truckers that are come here to get their morning meal. We have a True Value hardware store here, and around the corner there's a Lens Crafter store with a dance studio on the 2nd floor, plus a Chinese restaurant on the corner. There's some kids there, probably going up to the dance studio. Across the street is a police station. Notice the canine unit and the police vehicles. Speaking of police, they're working an accident here on Main Street. Notice that there's a fender bender accident, and looks like a police officer is taking a report from one of the drivers. We have 2 tow trucks on the scene, plus an ambulance, and they're blocking 1 lane of traffic until this accident is cleared, which is by this bank. The wealthy patrons are in there making deposits. I can tell because one has driven a Rolls Royce and another a Mercedes Benz. Moving down the line here, we see a grain elevator structure, and next to that is a office for a construction firm. Notice all the construction equipment on this dock here, which is used to load equipment on rail cars. And here's another rail car full of equipment. The boss is standing there watching these 2 guys lift a crate up the ramp. And here we have the Monarch Brewing Company, quite a large complex. Dock workers on the dock there, and these dock doors are open, ready to load these freight cars full of beer product. At the corner we have a Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant and a Howard Johnson's restaurant, which has a delivery today. There's an employee of the Howard Johnson's restaurant that is going to receive some product from that truck. Here's a Shell gas station. Mechanic was working on this car with the hood open. There's a vintage car at the gas pump, soda machine, and a telephone booth, which you don't see too much of anymore. A Winnebago recreational vehicle is parked there on the lot, and we see that a tow truck is bringing in a Olds Cutlass to the service station. And there's a Jeep there with its hood up, and I think this guy here is the owner of that Jeep, trying to get some help, I guess. This is the Belvedere Hotel, and across the street, length of the street, we have a parkway with trees, benches in it, and it goes all the way down the street here. IGA store, where they sell Western Union money transfers, and they also have product collaged on one end of the wall with a 1-hour parking limit sign. Next door to that is a newspaper office, and there's their truck in front. There's a Jordan's Furniture that's having a 20% off sale. Here's Newman's General Electric Appliances with Mr. Newman out in front. And next to that store is JJ's Bar and Grill. You'll notice that there's a woman entering Zale's jewelry store. There's Pete's Pets, and a professional building with AAA and State Farm Insurance. Ice cream truck parked there at the curb with a scooter driving by. And we have another auto parts store, and a bakery, a antique store, and at the end of the block, Mamma Mia's Italian Ristorante with a soda truck making a delivery. So this concludes part 1 of my tour of my train layout. Please watch the second part, and I'll show you even more details.